President Donald Trump scores President Bola Tinubu high in the fight against insecurity, sends letter of commendation after military neutralized some ISWAP members. It will no longer be business as usual as the Inspector General of Police gives marching orders to commissioners of police to ensure improved service delivery and shun corruption. Governor of Kaduna State identifies justice, equity and inclusive governance as critical to tackling insecurity in Northwest region. Asks states in the region to identify drivers of insecurity. And Ukrainian president dismisses the country's army commander-in-chief just days after the removal of the popular defense minister. And on business news, federal government targets more than $50 billion in investments to drive industry.
Federation of African Football Club announced 100% increase in prize money for women's African competitions champions to earn $2 million.
And from the nation's capital, Senate adopts key resolutions aimed at strengthening the regulation, coordination, and accountability of foreign aid in Nigeria.
Tonight with a thumbs up for President Bola Tinubu as U.S. President Donald Trump has commended him for efforts in tackling insecurity in Nigeria, especially attacks affecting Christian communities. In a letter dated July 6, 2026, and made public by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy Bayo Onanuga, President Trump says he is honored to stand with Nigeria in the fight against terrorism and to help make the country stronger and more prosperous. And according to President Trump, the U.S.-Nigeria relationship is crucial at this time, and the expectation is that an end is put to the conflicts across the West African region and beyond. President Trump also says that Nigeria-U.S. 2026 Defense Cooperation Roadmap remains a framework for both countries for confronting terrorism. Meanwhile, as reactions continue to trail that letter from President Donald Trump, the special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on policy and communication, Daniel Bwala, while speaking on our political program Politics Today, says that over time, Nigeria and the U.S. military have strengthened their intelligence sharing and collaboration, and this is the result of the progress seen in the war against terror. And according to him, Nigeria-U.S. security relations remain robust.
It is the recognition of the result of a collaboration that has assumed a very deeper and commendable level. The second in the command in ISIS globally was eliminated in Nigeria because of the joint operation. We eliminated and stopped their attacks because of the joint operation. We have deepened the collaboration to a point where we share intelligence, we have local training, and then you have the strike. So even last week, one of the high officials in the U.S. government was here. The letter typifies, exemplifies, and explains the progress we have made so far with the United States, and we have similar progress with the rest of the world. The metrics is the progress we are making, which is resulting in the report you are hearing, including the present report that the President of the United States lauded Nigerian government for this deeper collaboration and the progress it's making. America is the strongest secured country in the world. But 2 months ago, you know that there was an attempt at the president twice. Insecurity is an ongoing thing. We have repelled, we have resolved, reduced the attack. We have gone on the offense. There are so many things to talk about so that that woman in the rural area, that man in the rural area will rather be encouraged that progress is made rather than doomsday conversation that nothing is happening.
Are we saying we are holding our ground and we're not allowing our sovereignty and any inch of it to be lost in the name of diplomatic or assistance?
Lost in what way? Lost or to be invaded or to...
We have American boots on the ground. That's the question.
For training, yeah. They are not involved in active fight with people. It's for training. Those ones that came for the operation was an agreement between the two governments. Let me tell you.
What was their focus?
I'm coming. Even in England, in Europe, the entire Europe, there are American presence here and there through collaboration. What we have said from the beginning we did not agree to was to come without our consent, because under United Nations Convention, there are three areas by which a foreign soldier can be in another foreign soldier. Number one is when the United Nations pass a resolution in a situation of a crisis in a country and they send troops. Number two, if there is an agreement between both countries. And number three, if there is war between those countries. And the one that has happened is the agreement between us.
The Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, has ordered commissioners of police and other senior officers across the country to strengthen intelligence and surveillance, improve intelligence gathering, and deepen collaboration with other security agencies in order to tackle insecurity in the country. Speaking in Abuja at the strategic meeting with senior police officers, Mr. Disu says the successes recorded by the force in recent months in the fight against criminality must be sustained.
It is the monthly strategic meeting of the Inspector General of Police with senior officers from the rank of Commissioner of Police and above. 1992. The meeting begins with the decoration of 13 senior officers with their new ranks.
Effective policing starts with effective leadership. As commissioners of police and strategic commanders, you are the custodian of public confidence in your commands. Leadership is not measured by the authority you hold. It is measured by the standard you set, the confidence you inspire, and the results you deliver. I expect every commissioner of police to lead with purpose, keep their command operationally ready, and hold officers to standard of professionalism, discipline, respect for the rights of every citizen. Corruption, extortion, abuse of authority, unlawful detention, and any other form of unethical conduct undermines everything we are trying to build.
Done with the decoration, the IGP underscores the importance of leadership as she warns against corruption and unprofessional acts by police officers. The Inspector General of Police charged the senior officers to lead with integrity, shun corruption in order to build public trust and confidence.
Distinguished senior officers, what we are trusted with goes beyond running a public institution. We are responsible for public confidence and national stability and the democratic value this republic stands on. As we return to your command, I ask you to turn today's discussion into real, measurable outcomes. Lead with vision, supervise with diligence, hold the line on discipline, back innovation, strengthen your ties with communities and with sister agencies, invest in your people. Every generation of public police leadership faces a moment that defines the institution's future. I believe this is one of our own. What shapes the future of policing in Nigeria will not be the difficulty of the challenges we face, but the vision, professionalism, and the unity we bring to meeting them.
The meeting, which continued behind closed doors, is a monthly exercise which provides an opportunity to senior police officers to meet with the Inspector General of Police to review security strategies.
Over in Kaduna State, the governor, Senator Obasani, has identified justice, equity, and inclusive governance as critical to tackling insecurity in Nigeria's northwest region, describing the insecurity challenges as largely economically driven. The governor was speaking when he received members of the Implementation Monitoring Committee of the National Economic Council in his office in Kaduna.
Members of the National Economic Council Implementation Monitoring Committee are on a courtesy visit to Governor Obasani of Kaduna State as part of the committee's mandate to assess the state's implementation of key decisions of the council and resolutions, review the progress of development and programs in the state.
We are simply here to monitor all the laudable projects you're doing in the state, the legacy projects, assess the level of implementation of NEC resolution, as it will form basis for peer review for other states. Once the report is ready, other states will come here to learn your best practices, while Kaduna State will go to other states to learn other things they are doing very well. The whole essence of the visit is to encourage healthy competition among states.
Addressing the delegation, Governor Sani outlines the state's approach to tackling insecurity, stressing that justice, equity, and economic inclusion are central to achieving the prevailing peace in the state under the Kaduna Peace Model.
among states.
From our statistics and data, we realize that we lost more lives as a result of ethno-religious crisis in Kaduna than even the issue of banditry. And that is the reason why we sat down holistically and looked at the situation. And we realized that the first thing we need to do is to look at the symptoms and the drivers of insecurity in Kaduna. So when people say they want to copy our model is simple, but it's a model that you have to establish it. But the most important thing about the model is to allow the communities to own it, to drive it, to believe in it. Because when we came in, we realized that there are a lot of trust deficits between the government and the people.
The governor also highlights his administration's achievements in agriculture, infrastructure, and healthcare, presenting them as examples of development initiatives that support security and economic growth.
So on the issue of infrastructure, for us, we are not only focusing on urban renewal. We believe the rural transformation is very important. That is the only way we can address even the issue of rural and urban migration, which has really affected us in addressing the issue of insecurity in our state.
The governor urges states to address the root causes and drivers of insecurity within their jurisdictions before adopting any external model.
Moving now to the Green Chamber, where the House of Representatives has called on the federal government to adopt a national drone industrialization policy to help strengthen Nigeria's defense manufacturing capacity. The motion, which was sponsored by the chairman of the House Committee on Public Assets, Mr. Ademori Kuye, urged the government to support indigenous drone manufacturers, promote technology transfer, establish defense industrial zones, and review existing laws to boost local drone production. Our correspondent, Sarah Achimogu, reports.
It's the second day of plenary for the week in the House of Representatives, and the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives is presiding over the session. The order for the day is packed full as members listen keenly to debates on bills and motions while making their inputs.
The need to adopt
a key issue that came to the fore is the need for the federal government to adopt a national drone industrialization policy.
The House is invited to resolve to urge the federal government to provide structured capital support to verified Nigerian drone manufacturing companies through the Bank of Industry, the Defense Industry Corporation of Nigeria, DICON, and other appropriate financing vehicles to enable them to scale operations and meet military procurement standards.
The bill enjoys the support of members and is referred to the Committees on Defense, National Security and Intelligence, Science and Technology, as well as the Committee on Industry and Commerce for further review.
An alternative access road.
Also, the House of Representatives urged the Federal Ministry of Works and the Federal Capital Territory Administration to prioritize the ongoing alternative federal access road linking Abuja to Nasarawa State. The House also called for the reconstruction of the Mutumbiu to Garba-Chede Road in Taraba State.
Urge the Federal Ministry of Work in collaboration with the FCT administration to undertake a comprehensive technical and engineering feasibility study on the development of an alternative route linking the Kefi-Karo axis to the FCT center, including possible alignment through Mpape, Asokoro, or any other corridor.
Note that the Mutumbiu Garba-Chede Road, with a total length of 48 kilometers in Taraba State, was constructed in the early 1980s and has deteriorated significantly due to the lack of maintenance. Disturbed that the road is currently in a very bad shape, riddled with potholes, gullies, and sections that are completely impassable, especially during the rainy season.
The House also mandated an investigation into the activities of mining marshals over allegations of corruption. This follows a motion alleging that over 2 billion naira was traced to a former state commander.
convinced that these operational and financial anomalies directly undermine Nigerians' economic interests, resulting in mineral revenue leakages, heightened insecurity, and deterioration of investor confidence in the solid minerals sector.
The House Committee on Solid Minerals Development is mandated to conduct a comprehensive investigation into the activities of mining marshals and report its findings to the House within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Sarah Achimu.
A model recruiter who is known to have connected Jeffrey Epstein to young women was found dead in his apartment near Paris. Daniel Siad's name appears more than 2,000 times in files released by the Justice Department. Those records reveal how he spent more than a decade arranging for Epstein to meet models. And those include 2 women who would later say Epstein abused them. CNN senior international correspondent Melissa Bell is in Paris with details.
A French model recruiter linked to Jeffrey Epstein has been found dead at his home in the suburb of Colombes near Paris, according to prosecutors. Daniel Siad had been the subject of renewed scrutiny in the wake of the latest releases of the Epstein files by the U.S. Department of Justice. For over a decade, he'd arranged for the late sex offender to meet several models. CNN's Katie Paul-Glaze recently interviewed Siad, who said he'd had no reason to believe that 2 women he'd recommended to Epstein had been harmed by him, even though those 2 women told CNN that they were indeed abused by Jeffrey Epstein.
My work with him has been strictly professional. I never doubt that, because I never heard anything from anyone I introduced him who came back to me that they had a bad situation with him.
Siad said he believed that Epstein was a casting director for Victoria's Secret and for a modeling agency. CNN has found no evidence to support that claim.
I didn't know a lot about him until when he comes to Paris, and I told you again, he said he pays his due to the government. So for me, he's free man. He's clean. He was such a powerful person, and how can I not trust him?
Epstein ties to the modeling industry are part of ongoing investigations, including a criminal probe launched this year in Paris involving Siad, according to the city's chief prosecutor. Now, Siad's lawyer has pointed to the stress that the man was under due to the unbearable waiting and, I quote, the stigma cast upon him. Siad's lawyer's statement also calling for respect for his loved ones as they mourn, adding that he died and was innocent. Siad himself was also facing accusations of abuse. A model accused him of rape when she was working in France in 1990. Siad had also denied that accusation. His death certainly marks the latest macabre twist in the Epstein saga and a reminder of the ripple effects of the revelations from the Epstein files and of the fact that they are far from over. Melissa Bell, CNN, Paris.
Melissa, thank you. New tonight, New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani is now acknowledging that he does not have the authority to arrest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu if he were to be in New York. Mamdani had previously said he was considering how to execute Netanyahu's arrest for alleged war crimes if the Israeli leader were to visit his city. The International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for Netanyahu and other Israeli leaders in 2024 for alleged war crimes in Gaza during the Israeli-Hamas war. Israel denies the claims. And tonight, residents in Maine are demanding action following the deadly ICE shooting of a 25-year-old father from Colombia. The Biddeford City Council held its first meeting since the killing of Joan Sebastian Duran Guerrero last week. Residents spoke on Tuesday during a public comment portion of the meeting, expressing sadness and anger.
Limited power is not no power. You cannot control ICE, but you can govern Biddeford. It is your job to use every lawful municipal power to defend constitutional government within these borders. The danger before us demands leadership in the full exercise of local authority. Publish the Biddeford Police Department's policy. Order a public legal review of the city's federal agreements and available municipal safeguards. Put binding action before this council.
I can't help but sit there and think that you knew that this would happen. This was a long time coming, and that's sad to say.
Duran Guerrero was authorized to work in the U.S. The Department of Homeland Security said the officer used deadly force because he was fearing for public safety. Officials also say the 25-year-old was not the intended target of the operation, and none of the agents were wearing body cameras at the time of the shooting. New details tonight on President Trump's 250-foot arch proposal and how it could complicate Washington, D.C.'s already difficult flight patterns. CNN's Sunil Srifati takes us inside a flight simulator to show us how pilots would have to navigate a tricky descent into Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport.
This sky above me is one of the most complex for planes taking off and landing.
President Trump is about to make it even more complicated with this, a 250-foot triumphal arch in the middle of this very congested airspace, less than 2 miles from the final approach of Washington's Reagan National Airport.
It's challenging, especially that last turn.
Ben Berman, a former airline pilot, took us into a simulator to show us exactly what pilots see when they make this landing.
So you're talking about only 300 of clearance between you and the top of the arch?
Yeah, approximately. You can't go to the left because there's the restricted airspace of downtown Washington and all the Capitol and White House and everything. And then you can't go to the right because, well, there may be an arch there. So and then at the very last bit, make about a 30-degree right turn to line up with the runway. And all has to be judged, by eye.
I am standing where the arch will ultimately go. I'm nearly 6 feet tall. You can see how tall the arch would be. The flight path is just 350 feet above the arch's highest point. And while that seems like a small distance, experts tell us it's also the horizontal space that's important. As they fly above the river, it's between 1,400 to 2,000 feet. The FAA initially said it would have no significant adverse effect, but called for red lights to be added to the arch to help pilots navigate around it.
The rescheduled White House Correspondents' Dinner is set for Friday, and the president is expected to attend, and the Secret Service says it is heightening security measures. The dinner was rescheduled after a shooting at the event earlier this year. The alleged gunman, Cole Allen, pleaded not guilty to attempting to assassinate the president and remains in custody. The director of the Secret Service says political tensions have escalated since April, putting security on high alert.
We are in a heightened level of a threat environment right now. It's no secret. There are things happening around the globe that are always going to impact how we move, and that's how we evaluate what our security plan is going to be. We do base that off of what's happening, but we're always going to look at the threat environment and where we're going, and just what's happening at the moment. That does fold into the security plan.
Director Karan also noted the dinner's location will not be the Washington Hilton again, but the Waldorf Astoria, which advanced teams have already visited.
NBN Network Media, news for all races, connecting you to the world.